Beloved Madridista family, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back, everybody. Okay, we have a few things to discuss just ahead of the Valladolid match. Things that have been going on the last 2-3 days. You guys will have noticed by now the magnitude of every little thing at Real Madrid. I mean, this team draws one match, and you would think it's the end of the world. And Rodrygo, makes one comment, one social media, and it's just like the end of the world. The magnitude of everything at Real Madrid is just amplified. This is something I've noticed my whole life, but something you learn to live with. But I think that's the price you pay for being, the greatest club in the world with the highest expectations in the world. But listen, we need to talk about tomorrow's match. By the way, you may have noticed that Tebas decided to give us the 5 p.m. slot on a Sunday. If any of you guys have been to Madrid in August, at 5 p.m. it is baking. This is absolutely the worst possible time slot he could have given us. But of course, Tebas, as you guys know, will do anything he possibly can to disrupt us. But anyway, we're going to talk about the Jude injury. I'm going to give you my opinions as to the lineup and what I think we should do. We'll talk about the formation. We'll talk about Ancelotti's latest comments regarding a few things. And of course, we have to address the Rodrygo issue as well. So listen, welcome back. Let's talk about the latest news and the match tomorrow. Let's get started. All right, Madridistas, welcome back. Okay, let's talk about the match tomorrow, which, by the way, I hope to attend. I'm still on crutches, and I don't know what their policy is with crutches. I'm going to have to call the club. And, the seats are kind of low, and I'm not really supposed to sit on very low seats. So I'm going to have to figure out, what to do. I might have to stand in the gallery in Tribuna, just under the first amphitheater. But we'll figure that out. But let's talk about it. Now, look, obviously the big news of the week is Jude's injury. Okay, so by now you all know this. Initially, it was reported as a foot injury. I read another article that it was hamstring. In any case, the club has said that he'll be out for about a month. Jude put out a very nice sort of message on social media, expressing his frustration, but his determination to come back. So now we've got Camavinga out for 2 months. We've got Jude out for 1 month. And just one thing I wanted to say. I mean, in other videos I've mentioned, everybody is so stressed out about the minutes issue and Brahim and Rodrygo and Arda. And one of the things I mentioned is, let's wait and see, because sometimes the flow of the season will resolve these issues for you. Because, now all of a sudden Camavinga's out, Jude is out, so it releases a huge amount of minutes. But this obviously does lead to a discussion about the formation. And I'm going to give you my view. I don't know what Ancelotti is going to do. I mean, he hinted at maybe starting Modric, but the actual lineup, the official lineup, we won't know until tomorrow. But I'm going to give you my opinion. Look, I have discussed the Arda Güler situation extensively on this channel, and I have explained that his characteristics are absolutely perfect for a number 10. When I had Hugo on the other day and we had that long discussion, he agreed as well. This is a kid that has absolutely the perfect characteristics to play as a number 10 right behind the forwards. He's excellent with both feet. He has incredible vision. He's an amazing passer. He has very good decision making. He understands the flow of the game. I think he distributes the ball very well. Has an incredible amount of maturity despite his age. And the lineup that I would like to see is this. Now, this isn't to say it's going to happen. But this is the lineup that I would like to see, and I would really like to see Arda start. Now, look, I love Modric. Modric is a legend, and we all love him. But I personally would not choose to start him. I just would not choose to start him. I think this is a match where I would start Arda Güler as a number 10, and then you have the regular lineup that you would expect. And then on the right, you could have Rodrygo and Brahim, and at this point, I wouldn't mind giving Brahim minutes. I don't think there would be anything wrong with that. But I would really like to see Arda in the number 10 position. So that is my choice. I think Luka Modric is a player at 39 years of age who can come into a match with 20 or 30 minutes left, when you need to control the situation, when you need to retain possession, when people are tired and scattered, and you need a little bit of common sense and experience in terms of distribution and holding the ball, Luka Modric is still an absolutely invaluable treasure in our arsenal, and I think we should deploy him, but I would not start him from the first minute in a match like this. I think Arda deserves it. He deserves a shot, and it's definitely what I would like to see. So we're going to see what Ancelotti does, but I wanted to give you guys my opinion at the very least. Okay, now we do have to talk about Ancelotti, the interview with Ancelotti yesterday, and one of the things that they commented, they were saying, in the last match against Mallorca, everybody was clustered on the left, and Real Madrid has been criticized extensively this week for having so many players who want to play on the left, getting clustered on the left, and his answer was not surprising. It was very Ancelotti. He sort of said, look, we've been like this the last 2-3 years. We attack more on the left, so what? We've won 2 Champions Leagues, who cares? And it's very, very hard to argue against that. It's just very hard to, at the end of the day, the proof is in the pudding, and this is about winning. And if you can create more danger on the left just by virtue of the players you have, who cares? So I do understand his point. And then, another interesting comment that he made was about the center back situation. And he seemed quite adamant that, we don't need anyone else. We're perfectly equipped to handle the season until Alaba comes back. So he seemed quite adamant that we don't need anyone else. I don't know if this is his opinion or what he's been sort of kind of muscled into saying. Maybe that's the position of the club in general. But he did make it, he was quite emphatic that we're not going to be getting another center back, that we have enough players to cover the position until Alaba comes back in the early part of next year, at the early part of 2025. One other thing worth noting, you guys may know that Mario Martin is now going to be on loan. He actually played quite a few minutes in the summer tour in the U.S. Young player, looked quite solid, didn't do anything spectacular, but looked okay. But he's going to go on loan to Valladolid. That's something else to mention. And then, we have to talk about the Rodrygo issue because it just got so much publicity. And all the sort of anti-Madridista media here, blew it up like it's some giant family crisis. So Rodrygo, put out this comment on social media that made, he was criticizing Marca, one of the publications here, that had coined a term for the sort of Mbappe, Vini attack, and with Bellingham, but didn't include the R for Rodrygo, and he kind of was sort of suggesting, I'm as important and I should be mentioned. It was something along those lines. I mean, that was the underlying message. Now, Ancelotti was asked about this, and he said, he said, look, I've spoken to Rodrygo. He says that he didn't post it. He says it was fake. Somebody, must have put it out there, but that he didn't do it, that he's very happy, and that this is a sort of non-issue. So look, I think it's very, very difficult to know what the truth is. Maybe the kid put it out there because he was feeling a bit, bitter, and then immediately had to recoil, because I can tell you that the club has a zero tolerance policy for this kind of shit. I mean, you are not allowed to bicker in public. We do not, air our dirty laundry in public. This goes very much against the culture of the club and the sort of rules of the players. We do not make public statements about whether we're happy or unhappy. The club is very strict about this. If you're not happy, leave. This club is very serious about this stuff. So it could be that he made the statement, approved it, and then had to recoil just because they slapped him on the wrist. Or maybe it's true that somebody put it out there and it wasn't really him. I don't know. But what I can tell you is that I doubt very much that you're going to hear comments like this going forward, because I'm pretty sure the club sent a message to all the players saying, keep your mouth shut. We don't talk this way at Real Madrid. So look, those are my thoughts ahead of the match. I'm really going to try to go. If they do let me in with my crutches and stuff, I'll send you guys, in the post-match analysis, a bit of footage of, the anthem and stuff, which I'd like to share with you guys. So hopefully they'll let me in. We'll see. But anyway, those are my thoughts ahead of the match. Thanks for joining me, and I'll definitely come back with my thoughts post-match tomorrow. All right? Thanks for joining me. Love you guys. A la Madrid.